Good afternoon, traders. How we doing? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into the markets as we come into the close. What will happen? I'll let you guys do a little bit of a bet in the chat. Will we close above today's VWAP? Today on SPY, we're at 413.21 for the VWAP right now. I'm looking at it on the 15-minute. Or will we close closer towards the 412? So let's put a little lunch bet on. What do you got? I'll catch it in the chat. Let's see what you guys think.
All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
What's going on, traders? How we doing? Welcome to At the Close. Normally we have Joel Elconin with us, but he's going to be out all week. So let's go ahead. Let's dive into the market and see what I saw going into the close here. And go ahead. Feel free. Jump in the chat there if you guys think that we'll be closing closer towards below the VWAP here, towards the 412 or above it towards, let's say, the 413.50s. What do you guys think? I'll go ahead and I'll take a look what you guys say. Energy having a really good day today. Let's go really quickly into what led today. Energy getting back up there. Really nice day there for oil. XOM right back up there. Chevron right back up there. Oxy taking a big lift there. We'll see what happens here. It's been a big run here for some oil names today. So definitely catch those on up. Looks like James has above. We'll see what happens here. Definitely was watching today to see what was going on in these kind of oil names. It wasn't just kind of the bigger names. Also some of these kind of cheaper names getting some huge lift. INDO up 50%. We caught this move really early on live trading, so definitely stick with live trading stream. If you haven't ever been to our live trading stream, you're missing out. This is where we cover a lot of these types of stocks, those big movers, those big runners. That's where we cover it on live trading with Benzinga. If you haven't caught that before, 9:05 a.m. Eastern, right here on Benzinga, of course. Let's take a look at what else is going on. I will give you the news on what happened on natural gas in 2 seconds. I got you. No worries. I got you, Palo. In INDO, a lot of these kind of made moves. I traded this HUSA really well today. Going to look to see if it can continue tomorrow. Look to see if I can continue just trading in some of these oil names here. Also, take a look at a stock like IMPP, loading up the boat there. This is a really cheap stock, 40-cent stock. It eventually could make a way up towards $1. You guys know how these love to run. The moment that you start getting these to make some movements, just be careful out there. These are kind of these lower float, and these are a little bit risky plays, but I do like the setup now that you're getting these nice pushes like this GBR. We'll see if it has a day 2 move tomorrow. It's all going to be dependent on energy, but energy up 3% on the overall, 2.1%, 2.01% from the open. Basic materials also having a good time there. Copper taking lead there. Aluminum getting a nice little push on up. And then industrial metals and minerals getting a nice little push on up. From aluminum, of course, you guys could have been watching like AA or CENX. These are the ones that I like there. You're seeing Alcoa trying to push back towards 54. This one actually looking interesting if it can get above 54 tomorrow. Silver getting a little bit of a push there. Steel getting some lift. To me, silver and gold going up today showed maybe a little bit of weakness in the dollar. We'll see if that actually catches a trend. All right, well, what happened with the UNG? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look. UNG with a big fall off in the middle of the intraday market. What happened there? Well, what really happened there was Freeport. Freeport pushed back the restart date for its LNG facility near Freeport, Texas. And that really kind of brought it right back down there. And this is where it really hit the tape. Now, the question is, of course, will this kind of recover from this? I think it can recover from this. I mean, I know it's a negative here for the kind of production and demand that was needed there. But I think it can come back up through that 34. It's just going to take a little while. Remember, for natural gas, we were looking for a run into winter. It's not even winter yet. I don't even know if it's considered fall yet. You guys let me know what's the first day of fall. Is this fall? I don't know. I think I consider fall more as September, October, but we'll see what happens there. We're getting towards the winter months. Of course, we need to keep this on watch to see what happens in Europe. That's really going to determine, I think, the charts here for natural gas. I kind of live close to Freeport. Well, hey, go do some on the ground, boots on the ground. Come on, dog. Nah, I'm just playing. Mervin, definitely go ahead and check that out. Let me know if you know anything about Freeport. They're kind of close. In Texas, who's in Texas going to do our boots on the ground? We'll take a look. All right, let's go towards some other stocks today. Technology is getting a little bit of a boost on up. I did see this nerdy just take a huge lift there. But let's go towards like a big stock like NVIDIA. Bouncing back today, finding a little bit of bounce back after the kind of retrace that it has been. But this is kind of what I was expecting to see. I was going to look to see if NVIDIA was going to make that move up towards 174 that it did in the right at the open, right? A nice little push up. Or was it going to leak on out? Eventually, I think this leaks back down towards the 170. But bull traps there, as I'm sure by the dippers, we're stepping on up in NVIDIA today. On the daily chart, it doesn't look too bad if it could hold here the 170 and make its way back towards 180. We'll see what happens there. Definitely catching a little bit of a bid. NVIDIA, AMD, same thing, but it's not a big move up. It's just kind of a sideways move. And that's what gets me to believe that, hey, this probably eventually just gets taken down, but it's okay to take a momentary pause in the downside action. All right, we'll take a look at what else. September 22nd is when autumn begins. Thank you, Lord Byron. I appreciate you. All right, we'll take a look to see what happens in UNG and oil going into, of course, fall and then winter. All right, let's take a look at some other stocks that we're moving. Of course, Zoom had earnings today, and that continued the move down. If you guys remember at the close yesterday, we were looking at Zoom for downside action through their earnings. Did we expect to get down to $82? No, I was looking for a crack of 94 or 64, and it did crack it in the pre-market. But did I expect it to keep coming down? Not that fast. I mean, it just shows me more and more that Zoom's kind of earnings report and business overall in the world of pain. And this just shows me that Kathy, watch out, because of, like we stated earlier today, Zoom, the second biggest position in ARKK. And it's looking to me like she either needs to get out of Zoom to kind of help herself get around this. If not, ARKK, I think it's heading back down there through the 40s and back towards 36. What are some of the stocks that helped it bounce back today? Some of these biotechs bouncing back today. Beam, Fate, CRISPR. These were the ones that bounced back and are going to close up on the day. This is what held it up today. If it didn't hold it up there, you would have seen that takedown from the Roku and the Zoom move. And look at Roku looking really weak here after that recent kind of filling in the gap. Now back down there to 68 and could keep falling. All right, let's keep going. The equinox is September 22nd. I should have known that, man. Come on. The equinox is what determines it. I've actually seen the equinox moment in Mexico. So it's interesting. I should have definitely remembered that. Thank you, Khalib. All right, let's keep going here. Let's take a look at different stocks. Damn it, I had puts on ARK. Hey, that's how it is sometimes. You can't take a look at it. We'll see what happens if we really get that turnaround. Coin also coming back down. I did see that she did get rid of in ARKK. She did get rid of some of that NTLA on this spike. We'll see if she's able to continue getting back up there. Also, Signify. She sold some of that, definitely on that pop. So got to give her props at least on that for selling out some of that Signify Health on that pop. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep going to different stocks that we're moving today. Sales of existing homes were down last month 20.2% to 4.8 million properties from 6 million a year ago, suggesting a housing recession is impending here. ITB, home construction. You guys know I've been waiting to see this really crack. Now it's really cracking. Second day in a row, I'm seeing kind of this real estate really kind of lead us down here. And seeing weakness where? In residential names, right? And so what are some of those names that you guys can keep a watch on? Well, American Homes for Rent. Look at this chart. Rejection right back down there. Look at some of the home builders. Lennar getting that push right back down there. Toll Brothers right back down. So keep these ones on watch. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing these really, truly leak out. All right, getting out of this one here, I will take stocks from the chart. Don't worry, we're going to leave a lot of time for ticker time. I'm going to try to roll through a lot of what it was kind of the main things that were on the headlines out there. And then you guys take on over, throw me some stocks. I'll definitely check them out for you. All right, let's go take a look at some other stocks that were moving. Of course, Twitter was in the news because of the what? The whistleblower. The whistleblower talking, of course, a lot on the spam controls and how they didn't handle, they violated a settlement with the FTC, was unable to protect large daily user base. A lot of what was in here, I mean, I think it was kind of known, but the complaint was filed last month, just to kind of state this. And it was filed, of course, with the SEC, the Department of Justice, and the FTC. Now, the question is really, what will it do for the Twitter and Elon saga? That's what we're going to have to find out. And we're going to have to wait to see, really. But this downturn shows me more and more that, hey, looks like, who knows, maybe Elon might be able to get himself out. We don't know right now. Twitter situation to me, it just seems binary. I can't even tell you which way this is going to go, and I'm not even going to try. Yeah, there you go. Khalib, we could talk about that another day. I did see it. I did see kind of the pyramid and the snake. I'll talk about that another day. It was really interesting. It was in the times, when I was doing my philosophy degree, so it seemed prudent. Let's keep going. Let's go into some other area. I don't know if you guys saw Amazon hanging on a little bit here. I'm wondering if it's going to fill in this gap. There's a big gap here to fill on the downside action after we gapped up after the Amazon earnings. And it's starting to fill on the downside. So this is another concern stock that you could see just crack on down. Amazon news today was about Amazon Prime and DirecTV reaching a multi-year agreement that will see the satellite TV provider air Thursday night football games in more than 300,000 bars, restaurants, and other businesses. Of course, Amazon Prime holds exclusive rights for the next 11th season. DirecTV getting a little bit of some good news, but look at this AT&T chart. It does not want to hold on. It looks like it wants to crack. Watch out, AT&T investors. This looks like it's coming down. All right, let's get into some other stocks that were moving today. Of course, Palo Alto was one that, I didn't think it would get on up here and continue the gains today. But look at this chart. It just continued to push on up there, getting towards the 50-70, kind of that pre-market look, really pushed on up there and pulled back right on this kind of support here that was the prior resistance in the pre-market. You could see it pulled back right there. 553s held that and then started taking off. That's why I always look for some of those kind of red to green moves right out the gates. Those red to green moves are what I like to see. And if we can come back to a prior resistance that could create a support, I love when that happens. You can see it here on the 5-minute. You actually created 3 bottoms there off of that kind of the 553 area. That gave us some good insight to watch Palo Alto get right back up there. All right, let's see what happens. Elon might get the discount. Yeah, he really might, actually. We'll see what happens there. Let's keep these ones on our radar, and we'll see. I mean, Zillow Group has been coming back on up. That's an interesting stock after it kind of reported. This has been such out of favor. It's kind of interesting, but housing, not really on my radar. Let's keep going here. Utilities also down today, pulling back after huge leaps on up. So I'm going to be watching to see if this kind of flips tomorrow. Does it just come back in line here? One of the ones that I've been watching are some regulated gas stocks. This NFE has just been an absolute monster. Not that many people talk about this stock, but look at the move that it's put in just a 1.3 months, about 50% move on up. This is New Fortress Energy. You can also watch a couple of these that I've been looking at, like CPK. CNP is one that I'm looking for to catch the bounce now and get right back up there. All right, let's keep going. Let's get into some other stocks out there. We did have earnings from Macy's. Macy's got the lift right out the gates, but then gave up a lot of the gains. Now just been leaking it back here. I think similar idea, right? Bull trap at the gates, now just leaking down. We'll see if it can continue, but kind of the similar tune here for all the department stores today. Look at KSS, very similar chart of Macy's. Yesterday, weekday, pops today, but then fades. What's going on out there, Thomas? How we doing? All right, guys, in the chat, don't forget to throw up the stock that caught your attention today, as we'll give you guys some time to go into ticker time. I'll start it actually in 4 minutes. 3:50. We'll do 10 minutes of ticker time today. Smash that thumbs on up. Talking about going up, don't forget about the dollar. New big dog on the block. Shout out to the George Washington. And yes, this is actually really important. Now, one thing that you can do to look at that is, I don't have the charts here specifically for my kind of view on this, but what I normally look at is the DXY, which is the dollar index. And so you guys can see here, I'm going to pull up here trading view just to kind of show you guys that chart. And you guys can see how it's really been taking off here, getting some of that lift here. Now, let's take a look at it on the candle perspective here. Let me just zoom in here. Give me a second. All right, so we've been seeing it get back up there from the 108s there. Remember, we kind of pulled on back. Now you're getting that strong day. You kind of had that inside look here. This is something that I think is definitely important to keep an eye out on. When you see this break, this is going to be one of the most important areas to watch. And I think this is what tells us if we keep coming down, this dollar index. And this is what really, I mean, when this started spiking back here, look how quickly it went up. That's going to cause issues in oil. That's going to cause issues in Europe, because remember, oil's bought in dollars. As dollars go up, and especially the euro comes down, their purchasing power, they just keep losing out to it. So it's going to be interesting to kind of keep on watch what happens to the equity markets. But I think that this is telling us something. Remember when we talked about before, when we just started the show, would we get back above the 413.50s? We just ticked up there, and now we're right back down to the 412.50s. We'll see if we close towards the 412s. Let's see who was right on that. All right, let's go into some stocks out there. Double top on the DXY. We'll see if it takes it out tomorrow. All right, let's take a look there. DXY has traded a 10% range since 1970s. Good note there by Easy Mike. UUP trade is swollen. UUP, the dollar index bullish fund. Interesting to kind of keep an eye out. I don't trade this one. I don't think I've ever have. Let me know next time you see this UUP moving. Interesting stock there. We'll take a look. All right, this looks like an index. Is this even tradable? I'd have to take a look there. We'll see what happens. UUP, I've never traded that one. Good mention there by Easy. All right, let's go to some stocks from you guys in the chat. I did see some mentioned before, so I'll take a look there. BNZMB, wanted to take a look at CCJ here. CCJ trying to get back up there. Let's take a look. All right, I take a look at the weekly candles, and I don't know if it's going to be able to hold. Now, one thing I will say, it is holding kind of the pullback right now, but look at this recent crack. 200-day moving average above it, really starting to act like resistance. You also got all three moving averages above it. Not what I want to see in a stock. It's actually a little bit concerning to me to see that. It would show really bearish tape, especially if the 9 starts crossing and getting closer to the price action. That's going to show that flip. Then what you would have is a 200 above the 50, and then the 9 starting to move below it. This, to me, doesn't look like the best. And you're also starting to get kind of more of that kind of death cross back down here. It's not something that I would be looking at. You can see that how the 50 is well, this is an EMA 65. I need to change that back. I remember I did that for trade shoulders. But we'll see if it can come back on up here. Definitely 24.25s is the level you need to see it recover. For right now, I don't know about this CCJ. It looks a little bit weak there for me. But there is a nice support around the 22. All right, let's go towards it. Toll Brothers reports tonight. Oof, definitely, Jay. Watch that one. That's going to be interesting to see what happens there. All right, Walmart, says Jim Cruz. Let's take a look there. I got you, Jim. Walmart pulling on back, trying to fill in the gap there. Did it fill the gap? Yeah, it got that gap fill. Now it could bounce back. Walmart is all over the place, guys. I was looking at this back when it was coming back here. And then what did it do? It gapped down, it pushed up, it came down, it gapped up. It just seems like it's all over the place for me. It's really hard to get a read on something like this technically. when something's just jumping around all over the place. For me, I can't even give you a read because there's not much for me to go off of. The only thing I can go off of is maybe going off of support here, holding, and getting back up through that 136 level. Will that happen? Honestly, I don't know. And the way that this chart looks, I don't feel like I have an edge on this chart. All right, let's keep going. If you guys got some tickers, throw it on up. Kind of still looking at tolls to the downside on earnings today, but that would be breaking my rules. I understand how that one goes, Crassy. Yeah, I don't like to short into earnings because that just seems to me like an easy way to get caught. Chris wants to take a look at Unity. Let's take a look at Unity as it's coming down fast here. Where are the opportunities? For me, when this gets back down there towards 35 and 30, that's where I would be looking for it. But Unity, of course, got up there in a hurry. Could catch the bid here after that push, right? So let's take a look at where the 50% retracement will be. 50% retracement is right above it right now. It's trying to fight there where you see these kind of lines going through around the 46. If you break through the 43s, it could easily just be right back down there towards the 34s. So I would really want to see those 43s kind of hold, 42.75, get back up there through the 50 retracement if you're looking to be a bull in Unity here and expecting for it to come back up to, let's say, the price action you got to the left, or even the IPO kind of low, which was 75.11. We'll see when we get back up there in Unity software. Swing on SoFi. Hope good news comes. Well, I took the same trade there, Patrick. Don't know if you were watching the live trading stream, but I did take a swing trade in SoFi. Got in that at 616. Going to go ahead and see what happens. See if we get some announcement tomorrow by Biden about, of course, the kind of the college loans and see what happens there, the federal loans. Will they go ahead and excuse kind of kick off 10,000? Will it be more? Will they even take it off, right? I think this is something that is really speculative. And I just took the really small size. I had a really nice trade there today. So took a little bit of the gains to see what happens here in SoFi. We'll see if it gets to bounce or not. All right, HSDT being mentioned in the chat. So let's take a look at that. HSDT, a medical device stock, trying to get back above $1. So to me, right off the back, if I see a stock trying to get back to $1, that's what I'll call it. A move towards $1, and it needs to hold $1 and close above it if you're expecting for it to continue going. There is a gap fill up here towards around 84 cents that it needs to try to fill first. We'll see what happens there. But this one, look at the prior history. That should tell you enough. I don't need to tell you anything. Anytime this stock has popped, it has come down. All right, DocU. Let's take a look there. DocuSign, where is this one heading? Is it closer towards this red area or the green area? Well, couldn't fill that green area. Looks like we're heading back down there towards the red area. And I think that if this cracks, you could continue coming down here towards this price area. And so a move towards 55 and 50s seems warranted on DocU. All right, let's keep going here. What other ones are you guys taking a look at? The party. Who was looking at Party City here? I know I saw a lot of people kind of loading up the boat in this one, thinking it was going to be the next Triple BY. I did see a lot of volume flow through around the 214 area. And you could see it here with this volume spike. A lot of volume was coming in there on the 214s. It needed to hold that and get back up through the 230s for it to even make a chance to get to the upside. It's something that I'd keep on watch. Nothing that I think is moving right now, so just be careful out there. Apple being brought up in the chat. Let's go. Apple was one that I was looking for a little spike up today, but eventually a fade into the close, and it looks like that's exactly what we're getting now. The question is, will it actually fade off tomorrow? This, it tried to hold here up there towards the 169 into that gap zone. It wasn't even able to get there today, and so I thought maybe we could get to 170. But no, not even a chance there. Now you'll look to see if it takes out Monday's low, which is 164.07 on the downside. All right, let's keep going here, guys. We got about 5 minutes left here, and it is Tuesday. So that means we will have Cannabis Insider on next. All right, let's keep going here. FSLR by Manuel. Let's take a look. FSLR. Getting a little bit of a pullback here, hanging out here above the 115s or towards the 115s. It got up there as high as 121 and 121.91 on the daily chart. Has had a couple times to try to get back up here. I'd give it maybe one more drive if I got in at an early price point, let's say like at 100, and I'm just looking at it for right now. But I could see that it's starting to get a little bit toppy here. And if it does break that 111, you could easily be right back down towards that 100 pricing. So let's see what happens here. Does it hold the 9 EMA after a little bit of a pullback? Definitely look for it to hold kind of that Friday low of 113.42 and get back up there if you're looking for the push up above the 120s. Breakdown below the 111s. All right, definitely hit the like. I hope you guys had a great trading day today. Always call out the moves that catch your attention, and I will try to do my best to cover them. All right, let's go into another one here, INTC. INTC, interesting. This just continues to come down. Intel is just so out of favor that it really starts being a concern. I'm at the point, like, I don't even know why you would be invested in Intel. Like, just the charts themselves, I don't know how you take this. Not saying that it can't come back, not saying that there's no product, not saying that the company maybe can't innovate and keep going. But for me, this just looks ugly. This chart does not look good at all. Look at the monthlies. It tried to hold up there. And in the last couple of months, it's just going straight down here. All right, last one I'll get into is I'll take one from Keith, NEPT. NEPT is interesting here. Drug manufacturer tried to get off the ground there. A lot of volume coming in this one. And it looks like there was a split that it just had. So just be careful there. Now it's trying to get through these levels. Couldn't get through them today and hold above the 312s. We did get the push towards 310. I talked about how this was setting up here on the daily above the 236, making a move towards the 250 and getting on up there towards the high here to the left. Now we need to see if it gets a nice push into the 310s tomorrow. That's what I'll be watching on NEPT. Hasn't been a bad mover here. Now the question is, will it close above that 312 going towards the 320s? And we could see a pullback tomorrow. I'd say closer towards 275. That's where it needs to hold for right now. We'll see what happens on that NEPT. All right, guys, we got about 2 minutes left. What do you guys else want to take a look at? AMD taking over. Let's go. AMD getting that hit down there now towards 92s. Are we getting some leaking here in the markets? Yeah, it's looking like we're leaking a little bit here. Closing closer towards that 412 there. Interesting to see the downturn right here into the close. So you could see a stock like SoxS continuing up here today. I actually got stopped out of this one today. Was looking for a bigger time trade. And it kind of got up there. Just didn't make the big leap here. Stark was another one that I was looking to see what happens. This is going to be interesting as we keep seeing the decline in ARKK and some of these growth names. Intel has a ton of cash. I'd buy some under 30. Hey, well, let me know when it gets under 30. Maybe I'll take a look at it then. For right now, I just don't like it. Intel has a lot of interesting setups long-term with new factories coming, but just out of favor stock. Yeah, that's the problem. When they're out of favor, they need something to get them sexy. Something. And until that moment, I try to stay away from them. Like, even if it's just a long outlook, that's not enough for me. I need to see actually investors interested. And to me, they're not interested in Intel. They're interested in AMD. That's what they're interested in. But that's just my thoughts. Like always, we never know. That's going to do it for us. There's the bell there. Let's take a look at the overall market, how we're closing on up on the day. Where was the close? Looks like we got closer towards that 412. So if you said the 413.50s, looks like you got it wrong today, guys. It looks like we got a little bit of leaking into the close here. We'll see what happens after the bell, what kind of earnings come into here. You got, of course, reporting after today. You got Auto Parts, Intuit, Nordstrom. Keep your eyes on some of those stocks. Tomorrow, Petco. We'll see how the wolf performs. Does the wolf and the dogs go barking tomorrow is what we'll be watching out for. All right, guys, the last thing to leave you off with is today at 5 p.m. Eastern, after Cannabis Insiders, I want you guys to come on over and check out myself on, of course, a stream a draft stream. I don't know if you guys are fantasy sports fans. I'm going to be doing a live PPR draft with the Fantasy Pro team. Excited to jump on into their stream and try to compete against them. You guys probably won't be seeing my camera on there, but you guys can join me in the chat as I go ahead and draft against these guys, trying to get a better grade than them. And we'll see. Can I represent Benzinga well today? I'll give you guys a thumbs on up because you guys always sticking around with me. I know that I've done a lot of shows today. Don't have Joel Elconin, so I appreciate you guys sticking around, giving me a thumbs on up and enjoying today's show. Now, time to get you guys over to Cannabis Hour, and don't miss pre-market prep tomorrow, like always, as we get into the intraday market, and we'll see what Dennis Dick has us cooking up tomorrow. Now, Cannabis Insiders, go check on what's going on in the cannabis industry. This is where we cover everything from kind of deals that are going on to price action that's happening, and also what legislation could come, of course, in the cannabis industry. And don't miss our Cannabis Capital Conference in Chicago. Ask about it on Cannabis Insider, and they might give you maybe a little bit of a discount. Ask. Maybe you guys will be able to get out there to the Cannabis Capital event. I'll see you guys next time. Hit the like on the way out, and who knows, maybe I catch you guys in the PPR mock draft tonight.